Hi, Scorpio. Welcome. So, Scorpio, this is going to be your spiritual tarot reading, and we're going to go ahead and get straight into it. Scorpio, I actually tried recording this reading not once, not twice, but 3 times. And I kept getting distracted, or something would happen unexpected where I'd have to pause the reading and come back to it. So, I don't know if you're having a lot of delays or mishaps or miscommunication. We did just get out of a retrograde. 2 retrogrades, Mars and Mercury. It was a really intense December and beginning to the year, to say the least. But we're still in the post-shadow phase, so you might still be feeling that, Scorpio, to some degree. But when I was trying to do the reading before this one, I kept getting messages around the 5th house of passion and intimacy, so that being highlighted for you. But I was also getting messages around assets, the 2nd house of contracts, assets, and money. So those 2 areas of your life seem to be highlighted at this time. And let's go ahead and get into the cards and see what else you have coming in. Also, the number 3 may be significant. You may actually be seeing 333 or 444 on the clock. If so, take note. Maybe look at the spiritual meaning of those numbers. Just a lot of symbolism also coming through when I was meditating on your energy. But it seems like there's like this start, stop type of vibe that's coming through. And it feels a little weird. It feels a little off-putting. And it actually reminds me of the Virgo reading that I did for the You versus Them. I believe the title of that was called The Do-Over. If you have Virgo in your chart or you're connecting with a Virgo, you might also want to check out that You versus Them reading. So anyways, let's get into the cards. You have the 9th house here, which is talking about travel, adventure, higher education, your faith structure, what you believe in. Very spiritual energy. This is like encouraging you to go outside of the box here, Scorpio, to get your year started. And then you also have the King of Wands, which is all about leadership, confidence, fire energy for some of you. So it's like whatever you have going on right now, there's an opportunity here to kind of go outside of your comfort zone, to seek new experiences, to take the lead in your life, to be more of a dominant force in your life, Scorpio. This is encouraging you to also take ownership. This also talks about accountability and really going for what you want. So let's see what we have going on in the headspace for you, Scorpio. We'll start there. Then we're going to look at, excuse me, the heart space and what is going on underneath the surface and when it comes to your emotions. And then we're going to look at future outcomes and the big spiritual picture. So, Scorpio, what does Scorpio need to know? 3 of Cups. King of Swords. So I'm also getting messages about some sort of back and forth in the energy here. This is really interesting. So you have the 3 of Cups, the King of Swords, the Tower, and the Strength card, and then the Page of Cups. So Scorpio, you might have really been thinking about relationships or reconciliation, or somebody may have been thinking about that when it comes to you. But I feel it more coming from your energy. Take it as it resonates. There's like this hyper focus though on partnerships, relationships, family, friends, right? And it's not that you don't have other things going on. It's just like that's where your focus is being drawn for whatever reason during this time frame. There seems to be some changes a brewing here, Scorpio. And when I did when I tried to do your reading before and then I got interrupted, one of the first messages that I got in that meditation was again around the subject of change and changes coming through and being a change agent as well. This is your card, Scorpio. So this is right in your wheelhouse of endings, transformations, big changes, right? Some of you are going through some big changes as it comes to how you lead yourself, how you present yourself, how you behave. It's like almost, okay, first of all, Gemini energy is presenting itself. Some of you connecting with Gemini. If so, go look at their reading, which is really interesting. Okay, so I'm sorry, I have a few different messages coming through. It's like Scorpio, I'm not saying like you're changing who you are or anything, but there seems to be like some amending or change around a certain behavior or something that someone does that is a positive change, right? But change nonetheless. And it may have to deal with how you present yourself for whatever reason. And I'm hearing making a good impression. Sorry, this is getting a little weird, but say you're meeting new people or you have, new movement in your life, right? Or even in the job. There's something here about like making good impression, et cetera, et cetera. Spirit is saying, don't worry too much about that. Just be yourself, Scorpio, and the rest will take care of itself. That's the truth for pretty much anything in life. The answer is just to be yourself. You know what I mean? Like it's the simplest thing to do, yet it seems like the hardest thing for people to accomplish, because a lot of us fear that others won't like who we truly are. So we put on facades and we play the part and we, go along with whatever the social norms are for the most part, but it gets boring and it gets tattered. Some of you, it's like, don't fall into that trap, Scorpio. And I actually feel like, Scorpio, you are one of those zodiac signs that usually just don't give a F, what other people think or how they perceive you. And I actually really like that about Scorpio energy, right? But if you are put into a corner or you feel uncomfortable, sometimes you will adapt or become a wallflower or do what you need to do, right? But it's just like, don't be afraid of your edges, what makes you you. Don't veer away from that part of you, because that's also a big part of why you're here. That's what makes you uniquely you. You don't need to fit in any sort of mold that anybody's put in place for you. Nor should you want to. And this is why this card is coming out about the 9th house of seeking freedom. The freedom to choose, the freedom to be yourself, and the freedom to be your own boss for some of you. It's interesting to me that there's such a big focus on relationships, but this could also be collaborations and other people that are involved into a situation. But I feel these big changes coming through here, again, Scorpio, and this is on an intrinsic spiritual level. There's some sort of change coming in that's going to open you up to new ideas, possibly new partnerships, new connections. Yes. I don't mean to pause, but the message is getting very interesting. There's also a message here about trusting that whoever the universe brings to you, that there is meaning, there is purpose, and there is something to be gained from every connection and from every situation you are presented with. That none of it is without purpose. And I don't know why that's important reminder, but maybe some of you need that reminder. Let's go a little bit deeper. I also have the same song that I got in the Gemini reading for you, Scorpio, where he said, it's Chris Cornell. He says, I don't mind stealing bread from the mouths of decadence. I'm going hungry. Look that song up. That might resonate with you as well. All right, so let's go into the emotional space. The 9 of Swords. Holy cannolis. I said holy cannolis. Nerd. Okay, anyways. All right, so emotional space. And then the Hermit in the reverse. Wow. So Scorpio, this is interesting because it's like in your mind, right? You do seem to be hyper focused on making some sort of connection here, or connecting the dots. Could also be heavily influenced by your surroundings. Be careful with that, and or a certain relationship. But when it comes to your emotional self, Scorpio, there's a lot to be sorted out here. It seems like there's something that you're holding back that maybe has you concerned or worried when it comes to love and emotions. It's almost like this energy of, oh wow, really? Okay, so this is, I just say what comes through, all right? I'm just the messenger. But it's like being dishonest about how you feel, or there's some sort of dishonesty around it, how something is being expressed. And it could be coming from you. For a lot of you, it is. But it could also be that you're experiencing that from another person, that you just don't trust, you know, what they say, or the actions don't line up with the words. But there's a sense of like holding yourself back. But I want to flip it back to you, because this reading is about you. If Scorpio, you've been holding back out of fear of not being able to trust, right? Or not feeling like you can be truly vulnerable, there's a need to go in and self-reflect as to why you feel that insecurity to begin with. Because insecurity is much deeper than you think. When we feel like we cannot trust others, if you dig a little bit deeper, what it's really about is us not trusting our ability, right, to navigate a situation. It's not trusting that we ourselves can get through whatever the life puts us through. You know, it's a fear-based type of emotion where you feel unsafe, right? But it's a fear-based emotion. Fear is false evidence appearing real. And if you can do a little bit of self-reflection as to why maybe you have trouble opening up or feeling like you can be yourself, you know, ask yourself, why? Is it a self-worth thing? Is it, I'm only going to relate this to me. Now, I am an Aquarius, but I have a lot of Scorpio in my birth chart. So for instance, like if I'm feeling insecure, right, with a partner or in a relationship, it seems on the surface that it's about the other person, right? But since I'm spiritually minded and I know that everything I experience is an extension of me, then I always draw it in a little bit deeper and ask myself, what am I contributing to the situation that's making me feel insecure? And when I dug a little bit deeper into that situation, it had everything to do with me. And that I did not trust my own intuition. I had a lot of fear around making a wrong decision, which is a misguided concept, because in the eyes of your source, you can never make a wrong decision, but an easy thing to think. And I also had to deal with my worth and how worthy I really felt I was, you know, fearing that the universe had brought me a situation that was a test, when really it was an opportunity for me to get to know myself better and to grow on a deeper level who I really am. You know, so when I really dug deep, all of those things that I felt were issues coming from another person were really issues with the relationship I had with myself, right? And it wasn't until I was able to do that inner work that things improved in the exterior world and within the other person, right? So it was only when I could correct my thinking and change it. And how I changed it was, you know what? I trust that no matter what this person does, I'm going to be all right. I know that I'm worth having everything that I want in a partner and more. If this partner doesn't line up, I know the universe will deliver me someone who is a match to me. I trust that all really is well and that I'm going through this experience for a reason. I know there is something that really good could come out of this, even if it's only my growth, which actually, when I think about it, the only thing that ever comes from any situation is experience and growth. That's how you have to talk to yourself. You know what I mean? Like that's how you begin the inner work, is learning how to talk to yourself and talk yourself off those cliffs and soothe yourself and remind yourself of your worth. And clearly this is a message that whoever's tuning in needs to hear, because it is reflective in the cards, but this is just straight up what I'm being guided to talk about. It's the internal dialogue, Scorpio. It is the reminder that you were born alone and we're all going to die alone, and that's all right. And that's all right. That's all right. Because you got you. You got you, and you got your higher self, and you got source, and that's enough. It's got to be enough, because that's all you really got. Everything else in life is transient, including relationships, including people. You know, so it's like taking the concreteness out of it in your mind and being a little bit more malleable, a little bit more flexible as to what's really going on here, you know? So there's this message too here, Scorpio, about, I know people don't like to hear this, but I literally heard lighten up. Why so serious? That song from Pink is coming through now. I know that it feels serious, right? Like life feels serious sometimes, but because we're eternal and we can't get it wrong because we never get it done, and because things are always transient and changing, it's never really as serious as you think it is. It just isn't. Because it's going to pass. It's going to change. You know, so whatever you got going on right now, if you hate it, just give it time. It'll change. You know? So it's, I don't know. I'm also getting messages about time. Time is malleable, Scorpio. Some of you feel like you're on a time crunch, or that you have to meet a certain timeline, or something needs to happen in a certain, you know, order, or by this age I expect this, and this age I expect that. And Spirit is saying you did not come with a roadmap, and there are no timelines. Okay, you get there when you arrive, and things flow to you as you're ready. And just accept that. Just accept that and go with the flow of that. And don't hold yourself to any standards that are unrealistic and also not helpful to you, Scorpio. So there's this huge message here about doing a little bit of a deep dive into who you really are, Scorpio, because there does seem to be some issues going on in the emotional self, that you seem to be either withholding something or keeping to yourself, right? Like there seems to be like they're giving me the song What's in Your Head. Also, for some of you, this is a side note. If you feel like there's deception going on within a relationship or a friendship or whatever, I honestly feel like you holding back, like holding yourself back or away from that connection would actually give enough space for you to get some clarity around it, right? So if you feel like you're not gaining the truth out of someone or a situation, they're saying to hold back speaking on that or doing anything about it until you can push away from the situation and get some clarity, which will come through after you do a period of self-reflection. So let's go into the bigger spiritual picture. The World in reverse. The Four of Swords. The Queen of Wands. The Five of Cups. Whoa, that's a little book. Keep this to the side. The Lovers. The Eight of Swords in the reverse. The Ten of Wands. Okay, so Scorpio, this is like, there seems to be something that is cyclic and repetitive when it comes to the relationship sector or the 8th house of intimacy. And this is the issue that needs to be reflected on, that has yet to truly be vetted by you. So literally spend some time here, Scorpio, think about your thoughts. I know that sounds crazy, right? But your thoughts are really important, and you know why you think the way that you think, and does that serve you, and is there a different perception you can have, or is there a way you can see it from a better angle? Like, play around with the situation in your mind a little bit, Scorpio. Especially about how you choose to think and feel. There is like a cyclic pattern here that is about to be broke, though. So I feel like you are accomplishing some sort of karmic completion during this time frame, which is bringing you about some more peace of mind and something to get excited about. But be careful, because some of you are, it's like stop, start, stop, start. That's what I felt at the beginning of the reading. It's like you make progress, there's a change, and then something feels like it goes stagnant again. And then you know, after a period of self-reflection, come around to something, and then a new chapter begins and things get exciting again, and then boom, you're drained yet again. So there seems to be like an imbalance here with the way that you are handling whatever it is that you have going on. And that's why there's just this strong encouragement to self-reflect, because if you want to break a pattern in your life, you got to break it up here first. No pattern can be broken until you can break the way you think, or change the way you think, said better. I'm serious. That's really all it boils down to. But yet one of the hardest things to do, because most people don't pay attention to their thoughts. They believe their thoughts. They just let them play like on autopilot. But if you just sit with yourself and pay attention to them, and then ask yourself, does that thought serve me or not? Does it make me feel good when I think that or not? If it makes you feel terrible every time you think it, best to veer away from it. Scorpio, this is how you break patterns. This is how you break cycles. This is how you break addictions. This is how you break generational trauma. You have to get in front of it with the way that you think. And that's such a strong message. I cannot get away from it. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to like drive it home or anything, but that's how it's coming through. Here you have the Lovers, that Gemini energy again, for some of you. So strong connection here, showing up. And yet there's restrictions here and heaviness here. So again, this could be in relation to another person where there seems to be some heaviness or restrictions around that connection. Or it could also be the relationship between you and your higher self, and how you kind of hold yourself back by the way that you think, right? Which we all do this to some degree, right? I'm not like preaching to the choir. Like, we all do this. It's an exercise that we all need to do. But I feel like you also have the ability to break that pattern, to be the first of your kind, is the message that they're giving me. Like, to really own you by first controlling this. Wow, Scorpio, this is such a crazy message. I hope this is resonating. Let's see what the guidance has to say for you. And yeah, check out that Chris Cornell song because I can hear it loud as day. It says, we are all working toward the same goal of joy. It says, whether it seems like it or not, you are all working toward the same ultimate goal of joy. You're just approaching it in different ways, and all of it is working. This is a reminder to you, Scorpio, that all of us innately seek to be happy, and that's because happy is our true state of well-being. It's who we really are. We are an energy of natural well-being, and when we deviate outside of that, it feels uncomfortable. And the reason it feels uncomfortable is because you came here to be happy. You deserve to be happy. Don't settle for less. All right? So, Scorpio, zodiac signs that you could be connecting with or have in your own chart. I have Sagittarius, Gemini, Pisces, Leo, Scorpio, Virgo, and Aries. Those are the dominant signs I'm seeing, but keep in mind it's a general reading, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it did resonate, please do let me know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to give me a like, share, and subscribe if you haven't yet. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram for more fun stuff, as I do have content and videos over there. Tarot Time with Dana, all of it linked in the description box below, as well as in the About section of my YouTube, where you can find the donation link. If you'd like to donate to the channel, you can do so there. Otherwise, I'm wishing you the very best, Scorpio. And until next time, my friends, namaste. Bye.